Sound check. Testing. 1, 2. All right. Some more of Andrew Plotkin's Spider and Web. And Sunday we accomplished figuring out what we did with the blast tab. And we got some mapping done. Let's check. Let's see here. My maps are right over here. Come on now. There they are. Yep. And since Sunday, I also figured out what I missed. And so we can at least progress the story somewhat. So I'm using a terminal app frotz to play these Z Machine code games, and using Cool Retro Term as my terminal. You could also use Gargoyle if you prefer like a GUI program. But even if I'm not using Cool Retro Term, I prefer to use the terminal app frotz myself. So let's go ahead and change directories. Whoops, let's go ahead and get on to my interactive fiction folder. And we'll go ahead and frotz. Tangle. .z5, I believe it is, Asado. Yep. So WinFrotz would probably even work, I would imagine. And we're going to start from blast. And we're in dead end south. Okay. So the story so far is we're a spy and we broke into a secret facility, and for the first part of the game you're being interrogated. And you have to relive your memories to the satisfaction of the interrogator. And at a certain point, when at a certain point during the interrogation, the guard brings the stuff you stashed in the grill. And one of the things he brings into the room with him is the voice transmitter, which facilitates your escape from the chair. And it's a matter of and that's a pretty neat puzzle to figure out, and I thought it was. So since then, since we escaped from the chair, we've mapped out most of the facility, and we figured out what we did with the blast tab. And I'm going to get to the part that I couldn't figure out Sunday night now. So here we are at dead end south, so we want to go west to the T-junction and west to the diagonal branch and northwest to corridor boundary, west to White Junction, and north to corner at doors. Now, Sunday night, we tried knocking ceiling panels off all over the place, and in this one we did go ahead and jump, and we notice we're gently a foot above the floor now, and we did examine the gap, and nothing's in there. But somehow this was the only room. Alright, let's X walls. And there's the ventilator grill. You shift your grip slightly to ease the strain. X grill. Alright, open grill. And we can open the grill in this room if we're dangling from the ceiling. And so this is what I couldn't figure out Sunday. So you shift your weight to one hand and reach out, almost. You swing yourself desperately, kicking. Your fingers brush the grill. You claw at it, a wild swipe, and the grill flops open. Inside, you can see your gun. Well, get that thing taken with one hand, hanging by the other. Alright, and yeah, that was just something I needed to walk away from it. Because I had it in my mind that we had already dealt with this room, and I didn't. I thought I did, but I hadn't tried opening the grill while I was up in the air. So, now we want to go down. And we got the gun now. Now let's see what's all we got. So we're carrying our gun, lockpick, and a radio module for some reason. I don't know why we need a radio module. That's weird. That's supposed to be a push button. What happened? Huh. Or no, I already used the push button. That's right. So now we want to go east to corridor boundary. And we're at the corner. And we stay at corner at doors for some reason, or not. Let's see. Corridor boundary. So we're in the second. So there's two rooms named corridor boundary here, and they're separate rooms. So there's one that's more to the north. And we haven't been past this point yet as far as mapping goes. But the corridor angles here and crosses a boundary of some sort as it does. A few strides down the southeast branch, a dotted red line crosses the floor. You can retreat from the boundary to the west. You're about to run out of options. The intersection to the southeast is occupied. The guards there are not moving. They're watching in both directions with their backs to a closed metal door. They don't seem to have seen you. You slide deeper into the shadows nonetheless. Okay, we are in the corridor boundary. So, let's try the obvious. Shoot guards with gun. You smile in the darkness. Two of the guards are unconscious in as many heartbeats. You shift your gun, straining for a better target among the shadows, and fire again. A third figure jerks and collapses. Then pulses are raining up the corridor at you, and you flatten yourself into cover. I guess I'll try that again. Nice. Uh-oh. You snap off another shot and see another guard crumple in the southeast corridor. You freeze. There is movement up the corridor to the west. It sounds like yet another group of guards moving slowly but steadily in the darkness. A slot slashes by your head and you pull further back around the corner. Well, I guess we'll try keep shooting. Ah, what do you mean? The footsteps to the west or the guards to the southeast? Guards. Alright. Shoot. Guards. Shoot southeast. With gun. Does that work? Alright. You line up your gun, but the shadowy figure dodges out of your line of fire. The footsteps to the west are hurrying closer. A pulse splashes on the wall in front of you. Pulse fire crackles off the wall behind you. Your legs still itch just a bit. Alright, shoot gun. Footsteps. You fire again into the shadows in the darkness of the guards. The footsteps to the west hesitate. A pulse splashes on the wall in front of you. The hail of pulses is slowing. Oh boy. I should have saved right when I got my gun. That's okay. Can we go southeast? Oh wow, we can. Let's see what happens though. Sharp corner in dimness. The corridor cuts around a sharp angle from the northwest to the north. To the south, in the end wall, is the standard featureless metal door. It is closed. Two guards are crouched in the angle, surrounded by unconscious bodies. You hit the corner at a dead run. The remaining guards break and fall aside, trying to aim and roll for cover simultaneously. You can hear footsteps approaching again off to the northwest. What? So anyway, might as well put... Uh-oh, where'd my pen go? Did the meow? There it is. Add this room to the map anyway. So, that goes to sharp corner. And we're back on this piece of paper. Sharp corner. My reasoning on this is like maybe I might get in a situation, and that goes to corridor boundary to the northwest, right? Yeah. So now it seems like all the guards are to the northwest anyway. And there's actually we can go north. And there's a door to the south. Well, let's go north. Let's see if we can keep just running away from them. What's to the north? Lab junction. Uh-oh. Cool. Cool. So we're getting closer to the lab anyway. The white corridor runs south and east from here, with a wide branch curving northwest to the laboratory. You see brighter light shining around the curve to the northwest. You tear up the hall, chased by pulse fire. You can hear footsteps approaching again, off to the south. So we're at Lab Junction now. And it's telling me that the lab is to the northwest. So outside laboratory. Ooh. Alright, so back on this piece of paper. And we're going to be outside laboratory. Interesting. Alright, so east takes us back to Lab Junction, it would appear. A corridor from the east ends here, and a single door looms to the west. It is no larger than the doors you've seen elsewhere, but it somehow looks heavy, unyielding. Reinforcing struts cross the door's face, and the surface is sheathed with some black coating. So we figured out earlier that this black coating was stop the acid from melting the door through when we were getting interrogated. It is one of the things that's it's really trippy when you're getting interrogated and going through your memories over and over again, changing the story until the interrogator's satisfied with it, and then you've got to figure out what's really going on yourself, as the player is really confused. So anyway, that's outside laboratory. end of the hallway is still wet lit. You spin around ready for pursuit, but no one appears. Alright, so X door. Black plate. Alright, you hear a voice from around the curve. Wait! Okay, touch. Plate. With lock pick. The lock pit locks itself rigidly to the black plate by the door. Its status dot flashes to yellow. You hear a startled "what?" from the southeast. Okay, I'm confused now. Does east and southeast take you to the same place? Voices drift up the hall. It's only one. Armed. Took down nearly. There appears to be some little debate. The lockpick's status dot is sliding towards green. So let's go ahead and wait. Look then. We'll get a pulse grenade. Is that? The lockpick status dot is sliding towards green. Wait. Fine. Fine then. Fine. Some of the guards seem a bit peeved. The lockpick status dot fades to pure green and flicks steady blue. There is a hollow clunk somewhere. A moment later, the door swings toward you. The scent of ozone brushes through the doorway. Oh, cool. Well, welcome to the stream, Mitchell. I'll tell you what, if you're going to play this game, and it is a pretty good one, it's probably good to miss a bunch of it. So every puzzle's not spoiled for you. So we want to go west and the laboratory. So I better go ahead and hurry up and save the game. The laboratory. So I made it this far. There is no question what this place is. The room is high, brightly lit. This part of the building must have its own power supply, and filled with arcane, half-built, and unlabeled machinery. The heavy door stands open to the east. There is a small white pad and an access panel beside it. At the center of the chaos and its focus is a great silver platform, which is wrapped in a glittering cage of scan web. A control console stands next to it. Cables run out across the floor, from the platform to the console, from the console to the walls, and so cables run out across the floor, from the platform to the console to the walls, and tangle around a low cabinet off to one side. Much paper and clutter rest on a long wooden table against one wall. The table also supports a notably large black device. By the other wall is a clear space ringed with red, with some sort of mat inside. A steel cube sits on the mat. Alright, let's save. Call it lab. Close door. Or can we get lockpick? Can we do that? Close door. Huh. Okay, touch. touch. Ah! Alright. Touch white pad. So before I got... So let's restore. Lab. Let's try touch white pad. The door swings closed again. Open panel. Let's shoot sub-circuitry. The layer of sub-circuitry showers a corona of sparks. Blue light crackles among the sub-circuit paths. So hopefully that'll give us some time. The guards won't be able to open the door and come in and get us. So what are we looking at now? A great silver platform which is wrapped in a glittering cage. The control console stands next to it, so let's examine the console. There is a freestanding console next to the cage facing it, with a view off to the side of the padded mat. On the console are two buttons, a gray oval of contact pad substrate, a small rectangular display above the oval, and a readout strip. Handwritten labels are marked for each control. The readout says shut down for logic adjustment. You hear voices outside. Okay, want their papers? X papers. You quickly sort through the papers as best as you can from your briefing lectures. In a few moments, you have piled up a single stack of the most critical diagrams, tables, formulae, and notes. Everything else is left scattered across the table in more disarray than when you started. While sorting, you discovered a logic plate buried under a spread of scribbled diagrams. So it looks like I got what I came here for. I'm going to call this Lab 2, just in case I have to go back. Let's look again. Steel cube sits on the mat. Black device. The lock circuitry is not, it comes a mumble from outside the door. Must have done something. Well, let's X black device. The black device doesn't have the half-built rigged quality of the other machinery nearby. It is curved, polished, and sleek. It has faired vents along the top. There is a round A-clove in its front, which only contains a glass pot. The only control is a teeny black switch. We got shock grenades. Should we blast? From outside the lab. There is a pause and someone replies, "No, wait on that. Whatever's in the lab, the tech crowd will burst themselves if we fill it full of shrapnel." Let's go ahead and flip this switch and see what happens. The teeny switch begins to glow red as you turn it on. Well, I wonder what that was. What else we got in here? Silver platform, control console. From the Oh, let's X the cabinet. A voice says, someone ask around for a gas cutter. So evidently we do have a time limit, so I'm probably going to have to do most of this again. Do I have the logic plate? Oh my God. You smell something burning. So get logic plate. Taken. And do I have the papers? Get papers. Don't want to forget those. An oily burning odor fills the room, although you cannot see any smoke. Got anywhere with the lock, you hear? There is an irritated mutter in reply. Okay. Now examine cabinet. The cabinet is gray sheet metal with rows of holes running down the sides. Clearly it is a modular rack meant to have arbitrary equipment bolted inside and rearranged when necessary. The front is closed. Open front. Open cabinet. The cabinet is stuffed with blocks of sub-circuitry and nest of ribbon wiring. There is a gap at one point, however, as if a single logic plate had been removed. Alright, so put logic plate into cabinet. You slide the logic plate into the gap in the cabinet. One of the techs thinks there's a cutter in south storage, someone reports. Alright. I wonder if we need to close the cabinet. I'm going to try not to. So now we want to look, so now we want to X. I don't know what the black device is doing. So let's X the console again. What? Alright, let's X the buttons. Examine buttons. Scribbled between the gray oval and the display is the phrase destination waveform. The upper button says ready, the lower button is labeled light and fire. And right, bring that over here. So, let's press upper button. There is a faint hum and the display lights with a brightly colored waveform. The console readout blinks. It now says ready. You hear a faint pop from the other side of the door. It is followed by vicious swearing. Alright, I'm going to save this. We'll call this Lab 3. Push lower button. The hum intensifies, coming from all around you. The console readout blinks. It now says accumulators charging, pulse in 5. Look at the power readout. Something's going on in there. Comes a worried mutter from outside. A louder voice calls, has the cursed chief finished his nap yet? Alright, enter cage. Oh, shoot. Open flap. You can't enter the cage while the flap is closed. A familiar voice chills you. Oh, What's the situation? You peel the flap of the web away from its magnetic seals. It hangs open. The console readout blink. It now says accumulators charging, pulse in 3. Note, scan web coverage not yet complete. It's under control with, someone says calmly. The target is trapped in the lab. We're bringing up a cutter. Enter cage. You step through the open flap and on to the platform. The console readout blinks. It now says accumulators charging, pulse in 2. Note, scan web coverage not yet complete. There is a choking sound. Trapped in all the hours you spent in his chair, you never heard that voice. Lost for words. Close flap. I know I messed up, but you pull the flap back against the seals, closing yourself in the cage. The console readout blinks. Okay, it didn't complain about the scan web that time. Accumulators charging, pulse in 1. There is only one entrance with Commander. We're standing in front of it, the voice continues, a little nervously now. The walls are armor plate underneath. The ventilation system is secure. We haven't been briefed on any explosive or cutting equipment in the lab inventory. There's simply nowhere to go. All right. So let's see what happens. Nowhere, the familiar voice begins, and there is terrible silence. Then blast it down, he says very quietly, and screams, blast it. But a light is pouring out around you, a sourceless glow that seems to shine straight through solidity as if metal and plastic were starlit ice. The light builds and builds. Beyond the light, you see the door burst open with a distant, dreamlike roar. The lucent faces that crowd through seem to move in slow motion. Their guns are firing, but the pulses are frozen in space. You can see their eyes slide across you, the cage around you, the papers in your hand. The light. The blackness slaps into you with a silent snap. You can dimly feel yourself falling to a padded surface. And the shouts of the guards go on until you are hauled to your feet. The muzzle of a pulse gun is pressed to the back of your head. You have failed to make a difference. Well, that's a teleporter, but we didn't win this yet, even though we got to the end of the game. We transported ourselves into the same room. So let's look. Okay, inventory. What do we got here? Okay. Did we fix the... Alright, I don't have the, I can't remember if I already fixed the cabinet. X cabinet. The front is open. The logic plate has been slotted into place. Yes, alright, so X console. So we touched the, so what we've done. So there are two buttons, and we touched the upper button. So now let's touch gray oval. Here's Neko-chan. Yeah. As the pressure on the oval moves, the waveform on the display mutates. Wave components slide up or down, shift color, change frequency. You cannot interpret the result, but a leap in the dark must be better than staying here. You catch. Could be doing in there? Cursed if I know. Don't tell me what kind of toys they play with. Yep. Here's the Neko. Neko, Neko, Neko. She's a good kitty. Her claws sure are sharp. Alright, so now let's push lower button. A louder voice calls, has the cursed chief finished his cursed nap yet? Alright, so now we want to open the flap. Yes, he cursed has. The tone is dry and amused, but the familiar voice chills you. What's the situation? So I guess we just knocked our interrogator out when we hit him. Alright, so enter cage. Whoa. Oh, well, I don't need the pen right now. Scan web coverage not yet complete. It's under control, someone says calmly. The target is trapped in the lab. We're bringing up a cutter, so close flap. You pull the flap back against its seals, closing yourself in the cage. The console readout blinks. It now says accumulators charging, pulse in 2. There is a choking sound. Trapped in all the hours you spent in his chair, you never heard that voice, lost for words. So, wait some more. The console readout blinks. It now says accumulators charging, pulse in 1. There's only one entrance with Commander. We're standing in front of it, the voice continues, a little nervously now. The walls are armor plate underneath. The ventilation system is secure. We haven't been briefed on any explosive or cutting equipment in the lab inventory. There's simply nowhere to go. Wait one more time. Alright. Nowhere, the familiar voice begins, and there is a terrible silence. Then, blast it down, he says very quietly, and screams, blast it! But a light is pouring out around you, a sourceless glow that seems to shine straight through solidity, as if metal and plastic were starlit ice. The light builds and builds. Beyond the light, you see the door burst open. With a distant, dreamlike roar, the lucent faces that crowd through seem to move in slow motion. Their guns are firing, but the pulses are frozen in space. You can see their eyes slide across you, the cage around you, the papers in your hand, the light. Then the world vanishes. Blackness slaps into you with a silent snap. You have made a difference. Yes! So we got through it, finally. We broke out of the chair, got to the lab, stole the plans to the teleporter, and escaped. Alright. That's awesome. Now, where are my papers? So, we finally got to the end of Spider and Web. So what should the next text adventure be? Should I go back to Infocom? Or try another one? Wow. That was like the first time in this whole on these whole live streams with the game that I didn't spend a whole bunch of time like going around in circles or pick some more from the interactive fiction yearly contest. So that's a pretty good game. It seems to be just the right difficulty. You will get stuck, but if you just walk away and come back. If I go Infocom, I'm thinking Sorcerer. If I go other than Infocom, I'm thinking Babel 31 was a pretty interesting game. Or something I haven't even thought about. Some of the recent games are pretty interesting. And they're pretty much most not all of them, but most all of them are free. You just need some of them. You do need gargoyle because they're not in Z code. Some of them are in like TADS, I think it's called. I can't remember what that stands for. So, since we got to the end, and this was a relatively short stream, I'm gonna shut down, take a break, and come back with some more Shadowrun returns. And like say, I don't know, not more than an hour. And so, and let's see, this is Tuesday. So we got till Sunday to decide where to go on the next text adventure. And so please feel free to comment in the comment section on some suggestions. Right now I'm kind of half and half between Sorcerer and Babel 31. And it's been so long since I played either one of those, I don't remember much of either one of them. And unlike the Zorks, I didn't play Sorcerer over and over and over again. I've only gotten through that once, and it's been a long time ago, so a bunch of stuff I won't remember. And the same with Babel 31. I got through it once. It's a pretty cool one of the newer ones I liked. So but boy, we got through Spider and Web, and man, I can't believe that Sunday I didn't try to open that grill while I was hanging from the ceiling in that room. What's the name of that room? Corner at Doors. Holy cow. And if I wouldn't have walked away, I would have just kept running in circles for the next hour. It's like I would have never thought of that if I didn't take a break from it. So where'd Nako go? Nako Chan. Well, there you are. Let's come say goodbye. Let's say goodbye to all your fans. There's the Nako Chan. Bye bye, all my fans. Meow 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 meow. Yeah. And yeah, I'm gonna. So cool. Well, no. I didn't bring you up here to play with the headphone cord, silly. And I'll come back since this was such a short stream, since we got to the end of it. And we checked out both endings, the one where you do escape and the one where you don't actually escape. I'm going to come back in a bit with some more, play some more Shadowrun Returns. And then when Shadowrun Returns, if I get through the end of that, and I'm getting closer to it, I'll have to, I'm leaning towards, for the random streams, I'm leaning towards Tomb Raider Legend next. After I get through Shadowrun Returns. At some point, I do want to do, go back to Shadowrun Dragonfall for random streams, but I want to get away from Shadowrun for a second after I get through Shadowrun Returns. Oh, and that game, speaking of Shadowrun Returns, it's on sale right now for, let's go, yeah, the store, Shadowrun Returns, $3.74. So the game that I'm going to come back with after I take a break here, $3.74. So yeah, less than $5 for Shadowrun Returns on sale right now, which was probably what I paid for it. Its normal price is like $15. So yeah, this is a really, for a game that regularly goes on sale for less than $5, it's really, really good. So yeah, I'm gonna, I'll see you in a bit. I'm gonna take a break and come back with some more Shadowrun Returns gameplay. Thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe and ring that bell if you want to be notified when I go live. See you later.